The hot topic of the hour, an Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officer fatally shooting a 37-year-old woman in Minneapolis yesterday. Authorities say that the woman used her vehicle to try and run over officers during an enforcement operation. She would not move her vehicle. After being shown on video, she appears to block the officers in the street. DHS calling it an act of domestic terrorism. Secretary Kristi Noem explained yesterday. Watch.
ICE officers and agents approached the vehicle of the individual in question, who was blocking the officers in with her vehicle, and she had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues.
The woman was shot in the head and is now dead. The officer who fired the shots was recently discharged from the hospital. Secretary Noem noting that officer had previously been dragged by a vehicle in a separate incident back in June. President Trump posted this on Truth Social. I have just viewed the clip. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Protests erupting across the U.S. after the shooting. Several Democrats are calling this murder before the investigation actually takes place. Here's Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey went one step further, which an expletive response. Watch this.
I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
Well, there's the mayor of Minneapolis, Jonathan Fahey. Mark Tepper weigh in here. It's not exactly the kind of rhetoric you want to hear from the mayor, a person in leadership. But, Jonathan, we view that video. We see what went on here. The woman is not listening to the order from ICE officials to stop, get out of the car. She keeps moving forward. She blocks in the officers. The officer, obviously, in defense, did what he was trained to do. Your reaction?
That's exactly right. And I think what you just said is probably the most important point is she was given a lawful order to get out of the car. She was no longer free to leave at that point. And instead of doing so, she starts driving at an officer. And when she's in a car is a deadly weapon. And all of these officers and officers throughout the country are trained on that, because that's just as dangerous as a gun or anything else. Even at a slow speed, it can kill somebody or severely injure somebody. And you can see where the angle of that bullet was. It's in the front windshield from where, so she was driving right at the officer. And the officer not only has to protect himself, but also has to protect everyone around. He doesn't know if there are officers behind him, members of the public, because at this point, all they know is they have a person fleeing at this point who's going to be putting people in danger. So the officer, I think, did everything right. There'll be a full investigation, an FBI investigation, to flush everything out. But at least from the angles I've seen, it seems entirely appropriate. And the rhetoric, Jacob Frey is like next level rhetoric. It's just so bad. But it's just so irresponsible for some of these politicians to not at least allow these things to at least unfold and let the facts come out.
Well, that's right. I mean, they're calling it murder, and we're not even through with this FBI investigation. I think we have to keep showing this video. That's the only evidence we have in terms of what went on here. Show the video where you obviously see agents telling her to get out of the car, trying to open the door, trying to stop her, and she keeps driving. And as she keeps driving, as the officer's trying to get her out of the car, the other officer does what he's trained to do, and he shoots. And then, obviously, she gets shot in the head, Mark.
Yeah, look, I mean, you have two people who made split-second decisions, and obviously there's irreversible consequences, and this is a tragedy for everyone involved. Nobody wins here. But the real issue, the real debate should be those decisions, those behaviors, those actions that didn't happen in a split second. The behaviors that have been instilled in people's minds over the course of the last several weeks, months, years. That's the real problem. There's no longer any respect for law enforcement. There's no accountability. Nobody gets held accountable if they commit a crime. And we have political leadership that would rather infuse hostility than try to defuse a situation. And right now, what you have happening is you have a tragedy whereby the left is not going to let that tragedy go to waste. They're already positioning this as, look here, not there. Let's stop talking about the fraud and let's talk about this. And that's unfortunate.
Right. Well, that's true. I mean, this is another subject which Tim Walz is going to be talking about mostly, and not about the fraud that we have actually been watching that was uncovered recently. All right, I want to talk about the president's thoughts on defense companies and those buybacks. We're going to get into that. Stay with us. We're going to check markets when we come right back. We've got a lot more right here. We'll be right back.